All right, we're going to call the meeting to order. Any visitors' comments? Visitors? Approval of the minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, old business. I guess we're going to hold on for a couple seconds here. Sorry, Scott.
We can.
Yeah, you can skip that one and go.
I guess, yeah,
If you
we
don't
can go to first two we have to skip. We'll go to the third one though. It looks like we have some updates. The decorative parking sign updates.
So there's Laura's done a little bit of a study on old Webster parking signs. So Laura Burns has been looking at this. And on the graphic here, there's the first page shows some old Webster logos and then versus the city logos. The city uses the double V look for the W. Old Webster has not. And so the idea is to keep that graphic, that style moving across. So the W, the S, and the R in Old Webster are a different size. So she put together a few of these as working models for us to take a look at.
Okay.
So these would be replacing the signs that are currently there. There was talk about like having the tree on it and other things, but we think that the fade out on that and having a more modern, cleaner look. Because when they start to fade, the two is going to fade into the tree, kind of like it is now. And then sort of longevity. These could be, yeah. I personally am leaning towards the option number 3. It's cleaner.
Agreed. All right.
All right. We'll pass that word along.
The Shelby Council members, huh?
I mean, if only everything went that way.
Also, one thing to note is just looking at these, and I know we're getting new signs, so technically we can do whatever we want as far as sticking to a sign. These are like obviously circle, the other ones were more.
Well, these will fit.
I just wanted to,
Yeah. So this is just for
graphics.
for visual purposes. For the sizing and modification happens to it, but yeah, it will fit in our.
I guess my only question on the number 3, just to throw a little bit of wrench into it, is the leaf is red. Is there a reason?
It's orange.
Is it orange?
It's orange.
Okay, I got it. Okay, that makes sense then.
Print variant color. Once we go to final sign shop, it'll be
Orange.
Well, we'll see proofs that'll be the color that it should be.
Okay, great.
Yes, not a red.
Got
Purple orange.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
No pedestrian sign update on that one.
Okay.
Yeah. Commission vacancies. Any word on TJ, David?
No word on TJ. He was actually up in Boston himself with his daughters. So I'll have to I'll lean on him again. I fully expect him to join the commission. He just hasn't done it yet.
Okay.
But I don't have any other leads at the moment.
That's okay.
Yeah, because you actually had 2. That's just 1.
Hmm?
You actually had 2 vacancies.
All right. No. Yeah, and then I've been trying to get with Lynn Waddell, but I don't.
They're rehabbing the building in the back. They've been working on the building in the back, so they're a little tied up.
Right. Yeah.
Melanie Bennett, I'm not sure anyone has a relationship.
I do, and I asked her several years ago, is she still pretty active with the trade association?
Yes.
Yes.
Maybe now that the business is settled more, I'll take another shot at it. Happy
Wouldn't
to.
mind.
Not a bit.
Thank you.
And I think maybe last time she said if she wasn't, she'd ask Sarah, her business partner too. So I'll just get them both and see if I can get one of them to say yes.
I think that would be good to have some retail action.
Okay. Now approve 2025 district events. Business.
And Scott too.
Okay.
BDC.
BDC update.
No meeting this month?
I did see an email that came out.
Oh, yes,
talking
yeah, we
about.
did, there is.
Newsletter.
Do you have those dates? I don't have those.
Yeah,
on me.
August 14th
Mhm.
is the after hours gathering at Perennial in the atrium part of Perennial. And then September 18th is the coffee at the rec center. So after hours is at 5 and it's a social. It's a joint thing with the chamber, although you don't have to be a member of the chamber to attend. And then the coffee is informational and it's in the morning at 8:30.
And the subcommittee meeting that anyone can do is
Yeah.
at
The
August
first
6th.
Tuesday of the month.
August
at
6th.
9 o'clock at the annex. They decided to keep it same date, same time, same location every month.
And then the September 18th meeting at City Hall, I'm sorry, at the rec center, that's again, just gonna be like it has been in the past, just informational.
Yes.
Okay.
What topics did they decide?
You guys haven't
What is that?
decided, hoping that that's what you just talk about next month. Because you have to decide. It's a-
They've got,
Decide and
Yeah.
advertise.
yeah,
And
I can do a little bit of a city update. So comprehensive plan has been approved by the plan commission unanimously. And we will have our first discussion on the presentation from a CODA group who helped us as a city write the plan on the 19th of August. And then the expectation is that we'll have the public hearing on the plan September 2nd. And then hopefully adopt that following meeting in September. If you have not taken a look at it, it is available. And I think soon to be available relatively easily on our website rather than searching for it, or we can also send it out. I can send it to Fran and you can take a look. There is, one of the areas of opportunity is North Old Webster, but it's, as you probably imagine, it's not thinking about developing it in the same way with one big, large fell swoop. That's probably not the way that things are gonna happen. So you can make any sort of comments to myself, to Emerson, however you might like to, but it would be great if you take at least a look at the section that has to do with Old Webster as an area of opportunity. And I will, Fran, I'll send that to you today if you would mind sending it out.
You're speaking with Copland.
Yes.
It is on the city's webpage. It's under departments planning. And then on the left-hand side, it will say, I believe it says 2025 capital.
Oh, good.
Yeah, if you want to
You
check
got
it
that
out.
done fast.
Ish. Fast-ish. We'll pass those around.
Yeah. Mhm.
Is it my turn? Should we talk
Yes.
about? Okay, sorry.
Go ahead.
Again, apologies for being late. I got sucked in. I got here at 7 this morning to get started on this, then I got sucked into another meeting. So these are your revenue and expense budgets for the 2026 final, as what was the final budget approved by council. in June. So that's official for the current fiscal year. And then, moving back where the actual amounts going back through 2021. The 2025 actual, we are still finalizing the budget. The fiscal year ended June 30th. So finance is still working on that. So there could still be some small changes one way or the other on, I don't think there'll be any expense changes because I don't have any invoices to process on there. So I don't think there'll be any expenses changed. But if any revenue came in right at the end of June, it could not be accounted for yet. By the end of July, all of those finances will be done for the fiscal year because then we kick off our audit starting in August. So we have to have everything closed out by July 31st.
So a question on the business licenses, is our 2025 actual amount is still is 34,000? And then the 2026 final, is that just an estimate?
That's just an estimate, yes. That's what we kind of base the budget on.
Right, yeah, okay, all right. And so it's still, I mean, I guess we're estimating it's gonna be 40,000, but it hasn't been the last 3 years. Is that just a hope?
I mean, it's been trending up as we've been doing better on collections.
Okay, right.
And the enforcement of those collections is getting stronger to some of those businesses around town, not just in Old Webster, that have not been paying for multiple years. We're stepping up some enforcement actions on some of those businesses to try to get them to pay. So yeah, those revenue estimates are educated best guesses of where we think we can be based off the information we had in January and February of collections of this year and that trend line. So
the city has identified the businesses that haven't been paying. Yes.
we've identified the ones that we know about that haven't paid.
Right.
Obviously, if someone, it's not so much in the business districts, but around town, if you're running a home-based business or something like that, it's much more difficult for us. Brick and mortars, it's a little easier because you can walk down the street and go, there's a business, there's a business.
Right.
They paid, they haven't.
So that's what we're seeing a
Right.
shortage of is brick and mortars,
Right.
really, because we don't get home businesses that don't affect us at all. Right, okay.
The expenses like for street names, we allocated 4,100. And I know that was underwritten by
Right.
a sponsor.
Yeah,
Was that underwriting?
well, that's not correct.
Okay,
So-
so that's like 4,100 that could come back.
Right.
Yeah, so you've got a couple line items for special events. Page 2 of 4, the 803 line item.
I haven't paid for it before.
It's
I have one of more. Yeah, that's where I'm messed up. Need 2 of 4 and 3 of 4.
Did I not collate them
No,
correctly?
I think you did. I think that in the handout process, there was,
You got 2 and 3.
I saw the 1.
should be a
It
revenue.
should be a 1 of 1, and then there should be 1 of 4 for the expense side.
2 of 4.
On the top right, you should, one's a budget, event, one's revenue. I would like-
There's a revenue.
Revenue's only got 1 page. Expense should have 4
There we go.
pages.
Thank you.
We all got them now. My
Yeah,
apologies.
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Put them together correctly. So on page 2 of 4, 803 professional services, you've got a line item for special events, which is admin support. So that's things that the city is putting into it for sponsorships. And then on page 3 of 4, You have an advertising line item where you also have, that's where you have the street dance sponsorship of 4,100 coming in there.
Yeah.
So technically what would happen is when you get a sponsorship like that, the $4,100 would actually go into your revenue accounts as new revenue to offset the 4,100 out of that expense account for the sponsorship. So it wouldn't actually go back into the expense account. Our auditors don't allow us to do that.
Right.
We did years ago, but we don't do that anymore.
So Scott, and then so on the page 4 our actual cash balance is $89,000 at the end of year fiscal 2025. Is that correct?
No, that would be your cash expense, how much you actually expended in
Oh, okay.
2024.
All right.
So we're over by 9,600. On our revenue.
Sure, you outspent revenue by 9,000. So if you compare the very bottom line and on the revenue budget worksheet, page 101 to the very bottom line on page 404 in the 2025 actuals. I did not print your cash balance sheet for other monies that you have in the CD and things of that nature. I can certainly get that information.
So we're going to be spending supposedly about $30,000 more than our income is this year. Looks like.
Correct.
I mean, it's not sustainable, of course. Not at all. So, we're gonna have to find some areas that.
Well, a couple of those are one-time costs. I think, your rooftop lighting upgrades are 15,000. That's not something you've done year over year. So that's a one-time $15,000 cost, which would come out of your cash balance, all those CDs. So if you pull that one out, your advertising dollars did go up about $5,000 this year over the previous year.
And then we also have, I think, 7,000 or so in here for signage, the parking signs. So that's 21,000 right there.
Right.
One-time expenses.
Okay.
Versus. And I think it's at 4,100, it's 25,000.
Take all those out, you're back to being close to even. You're probably still running a $7,000 deficit.
You have a bake sale.
Lemonade stand,
I'm sorry.
lemonade stand.
Lemonade.
I do like when
They go.
I recommend putting Jack in it and giving him money.
Let's all take a better look at this, and for next meeting, we'll kind of go over it a little bit more extensively.
Are the other districts facing the same financial shortfalls?
Yes, the short answer, I don't have their exact numbers total,
Yeah, but
but
I'm just wondering, like, I didn't know if it was this district or it's.
yes.
Do you mind if I?
have a-
So one of the things that's happening in Old Orchard this year is they are also going to spend a significant portion of their reserves to stand up a trade association, to help stand up a trade association because they are trying to get things going a little bit more, because they face this. Crossroads is a little different because they're funneling pretty much all their resources for the big streetscape process. So that's sort of apples and oranges. But if you compare Old Webster and Old Orchard, I think it's pretty similar.
So make sure that we're not doing something seriously wrong.
I mean, I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I think it's just expenses continue to go up across the board on everything from plant material to labor cost. And, you know, business licenses haven't come in as strongly as they had a couple of years in the past. Though they are up over, you know, the previous 2 years, they're up 10K. But we need to make up that 10K somewhere, because we.
Can we look and see where
And
the
there's
10K, where was it and where is it not? Like, how did we have it when Old Webster wasn't, you know, all the shops weren't full? And then now that it's not there, I don't know if you can look into that. I know we can't see the reels, but rolls. But if you could, just a historical overview of the financial income, like I just wonder where. You know, there were some people that paid for business licenses that didn't need them. But
I think Dave's case is pretty rare.
well, I mean, it's,
I mean,
yeah,
right, but I don't.
I'm sure there was more.
I don't think that was the main thing. I just think that people have just stopped paying. I don't know why. I mean, yeah. But I mean, in my opinion.
And I don't know that this is related, but one of the things that has happened over time is the state has really changed the way we're allowed to regulate home-based businesses. So I think on the home-based side, it's, to Scott's point, it's a lot easier for us not to know you're running because we can't require certain things of you anymore. And that's just a guess on my part that it might be part of it, but the timing is similar.
Well, ours, I mean, to be honest with you, should have nothing to do with home.
Yeah, that's a good
Ours is
point.
all brick and mortar. I mean,
Yeah.
and so
Oh,
that's where
yeah.
I can go back and I here long enough to, you know, in 2018, 19, our revenue
Yeah.
was $45,000 and there were big vacancies around and 23 and 24 is half of that. You know, it's just, and I understand it's maybe a difficult thing for people to police, but there has to be a way. And in my personal opinion, we should be getting that money from back years as well to come into our revenue, which would then we'd be in fine shape.
And when someone pays and comes up to current, that will happen. That money is all actualized when we get it.
Right.
And there is a service fee on there, a late payment fee. I think it's 2% off the top of my head. If you don't pay,
It's 5% a month.
is that what it is?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, it's like, I don't
It should
know.
incentivize you to pay.
Yeah.
Right, one year that our shop, we had to go back and forth because we messed up for a couple bucks on some taxes, so we weren't good with the state on our sales tax. And I waited until the 20th of April to pay it, and they're like, "Oh no, you need to correct this with the state." Went back and forth, and I had to pay a late fee. You know, I was like, "I'm never doing that again." You know, I'm making sure I go in end of March, and then if there's any issues with the state where I have to go back and forth, but. Yeah, but I'm just, yeah, I'm just dumbfounded how, and I understand, I don't know, but.
It's
I
been
think
my
that-
understanding, the last few years, those businesses that have neglected to pay, that and certainly we don't know the specifics, but it's been my understanding that the city really either doesn't have the ability or has chosen not to take enforcement actions. Is that a fair statement?
I think we have limited enforcement action available to us. I mean, we're not going to come out there and padlock stores' doors, or have a police officer stand there and say this business isn't open. They haven't paid their business license for 2024. So I think there's very limited cases of enforcement available to us other than late fees, charges. At some point, you're going to want to get another building permit to upgrade, a different oxy permit or something like that, we can deny any of those additional permitting until you come back into compliance. But it's difficult for us to make someone come into compliance.
Are there any businesses that have, you know, additional licenses they need to run, say like a liquor license or any other types that are actually not paying their taxes? Because it seems like that would be easy to find out. And if not, then why don't we pull the liquor license? You know, like something like that, like you don't have to shut them down, but you know, if they can't get their other licenses if they don't pay their business license.
Council approved
Yes.
that, so you have to have a city
Yeah.
license to get a liquor license.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure we just approved the liquor license not too long ago. I'm pretty sure the state clerk went through and asked for that information as that process went forward. But you're right, any tool like that is a good tool.
Yeah, that's kind of what we have.
Yeah,
Those
right,
types
right.
of things. So, you know, but if you're not selling liquor, or you're not trying to add a restroom onto your business or something like that,
Yeah.
and you're just open and you've been open for a decade and you're not making any changes, as long as you're paying your state sales taxes and the state doesn't mandate that we shut them down, there's not much else. We can beg and plead and send invoices, but
Maybe we need a wall of shame. So
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking somebody has to, you could just have a Freedom of Information Act type thing where I get the information and maybe it's in the Webster Kirkwood Times, a list. I don't, you know what I mean?
Like the, you know, lost items things you see where like, you know, collecting your lost items, something like that. Something like
I don't know. I would agree with the wall of shame thing. I mean, there has to be a way to make people do this, and it's just common decency. So, all right, let's think about that.
All right.
Dave, I'll get you a copy of all these, okay?
All right, appreciate it.
yeah, I can get an email to you, Dave.
Okay, fantastic. I think as far as the discussion on budgets go, though, in the next couple of years, if we don't change the revenue metrics or the expense side, we'll burn through our excess in the next couple of years. So just something to be aware of.
Right. And in looking at this, I guess council did not approve our request for funding for the signs, and I went to the council and made
I think it was gonna come from.
yeah, it isn't that you can't spend the money. It just won't come from our general.
I understand,
revenue.
right, yeah, right, I understand that, right, okay.
I believe there's a question as to why we would need money from the city if we have money in reserves.
Right, that was the question.
Which is the question that voters are asking us.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes,
I-
yeah. Those voters.
I tell you, they're tricky.
Okay, so budget, rooftop lighting update.
Still waiting. They are coming. I do not have a date when they will start work in Old Webster. They are still finishing up work in Old Orchard. I know Crossroads is also asked. Old Webster, they're supposed to come to Old Webster next. I'm pushing them, but I don't have better information than that.
It's just crazy. I mean, it's not, I mean, this is a new company, and the old company we had, Thrive, was the same exact way, if not worse. And
When
it's
they
just,
don't have a job for somebody to do, they just send them over. They'll go to
right,
Old Orchard.
people bring a
go to
repair into
Webster.
my bike shop, I tell them when it's gonna be
Can I
done,
say
and it's
something?
done.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
In their defense, it's problems with the business owners or property owners not giving them access when they do show up.
Do they know when, do the business owners know when they're coming?
I think that's also a problem.
Okay, it's like that's the whole scheduling.
Yes, I think that's the key, is the scheduling.
Why would they not give access when they show up?
In the middle of lunch.
especially Old Orchard, John Barr owns the
Doesn't
whole
know if
place.
they're coming. And they're afraid of incurring expense. You know, you go into a business and the person doesn't even know what's going on because they're only doing what they do every day and
I don't know that actually. But, you know, when the gas company comes and has to switch out my gas meter, I know when they're coming. I'm there. I show them where the gas meter is and I let them do it. It's
That's,
very hard.
you know, for scheduling, if they could let people know when they're coming, I think that would be huge.
Correct.
And not even asking permission. We'll be here to do your rooftop lights on this day.
Do we have an address list in Old Webster of the spots that need, is this commission aware of that? I have not dug back through last year's or the year previous agendas to find those.
There was an audit done with Renee and Strive Electric.
Yeah,
It probably needs to be redone.
3 years ago.
No, Dave and I walked around. Dave, when did we walk around the business district? That was a year ago, maybe?
I think, yeah, about a year ago, late fall, early
We walked
winter.
around the whole industry or the whole business district and made mentions that, hey, they have lights, but they're not on. These lights are all in disrepair. And then we did give that to Renee.
You still have that
I
file?
can see what I can. Dave, do you have that file? I think you sent that to Renee in an Excel spreadsheet, I believe.
Yeah, yeah, I can check through my files. I'll get it. I'll distribute it to Fran. Is that probably the best place to get it?
Or Scott.
Yeah.
Fran, Scott. Okay.
Yes. If you've got it, if you send it, that'll help me. I can go back and search through Renee's emails too. If I know that it came from you, it'll narrow down the list of old emails to 10,000 to search through to find the right one. So
I get it. Yeah, I'll pass it around.
and then one of the other questions I know that's come up in one of the other districts is the new lights got installed and now the business owner is seeing an upgrade in electric charges and is wondering who's going to pay for those. So
Business owner
that's what I
or
thought.
the tenant?
Yes.
So,
Whoever agreed to
they're
put the
LED
lights,
That's not the.
can't be that much.
No,
like
it's
$35 a year.
Or it's less even. Yeah, it's something
Yeah.
ridiculously low. I mean, it's not a huge. They're just thinking it's huge.
Yes.
They're seeing some other increase that they don't know about. It's not the lights, the LED lighting.
Asking all the concerns.
So that,
I
so
can talk to them and explain, like, you know, I have a meter that they can put on it and then see what the readings.
Yeah, it's
So when we originally started our lighting project, it was just kind of agreed upon that the business or building owner, whoever's paying that, it would just kind of absorb that. Let's just take my whole block right there. That was done by Joe Rath and Acme Printing before Stacy has it. So now Stacy has the lights. But we figured out it was $15, $20 a year, you know, and so it wasn't a huge impact. And just I'll talk to Stacy personally, and she wants $50. I'll give her $50. It's not,
Okay, so I'm the liaison to Crossroads and we were having this conversation since they're gonna do it for the first time. So that ended up in the box because Joe owned those buildings or because
No,
Joe
no, no,
didn't
no,
organize?
no,
There's
just-
because there's one box for multiple.
because he had an
buildings.
outlet up on his roof. And
Oh, got
my
it.
my
Okay.
personal air conditioner did not. My air conditioner was installed, but now you have to legally have an outlet on the roof
Okay,
when you get a new air conditioner installed. When my air conditioner was installed, it was not. That was not
Okay.
a law.
so that was just a matter of circumstance. It wasn't
Right.
necessarily planned to work a particular way.
right. Exactly.
Okay,
He was
gotcha.
in the middle of the.
That's
so he
helpful.
was like, "Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
no problem." So everybody just kind of getting along with the community. Seems to be hard to do now. Okay. Is there any other, Scott, do you have any city update for us besides?
I don't
The public planning?
talk about stormwater master plan too, or just?
I did not. I just talked about,
Okay.
yes, I should have talked about that.
So we've got a stormwater master plan, also that is out there that is in its final draft mode. It hasn't been adopted by council yet either, but hopefully will be soon. You can check that master plan out too. It is on the Public Works Department page. And on the left-hand column says something to the effect of the same thing, 2025 Stormwater Master Plan. It's a comprehensive plan for the entire city. There's 100+ projects that have been identified by our consultants for close to just shy of $50 million worth of projects. That's obviously going to be a multi-year situation to get through all those projects with $50 million. And additionally, council's had first and second reading on a new commission, which is a stormwater advisory commission. And that will help the city prioritize those projects and any other projects that come in or requests that come in for stormwater. We're hoping to staff that up with volunteers that are, landscape architects, civil engineers, folks of that nature who have some sort of professional knowledge of stormwater planning, land use planning, and things like that, so that they can provide another resource for us and help prioritize those in future years, and also get the word out to the community about various projects.
Got a quick stormwater question.
Sure.
When MSD started Project Clear, so do we know what the math was of how much water was displaced out of storm sewers into storm sewers versus what was going down the sanitary sewer? Did they ever say anything like that? Did they do the math for Webster? Once that started,
Sure, they did the math. I don't know that that data is readily available to us.
I just wonder like what that impact had. Like,
Yeah.
being from New Orleans, I've dealt with flooding a few times, but just seeing like everybody took their gutters on their old houses and put them into the street, all of a sudden now the streets are full. It's kind of an interesting scenario. I don't know what if we get that number from them, then that could help with the overall, like how much water we need to get rid of.
I've not seen that number. I know MSD is in the design phase for a project, which comes up and touches the bottom of Old Webster over the next, probably won't be finished until 2028. But they are splitting those storm and sanitaries along Kirkham Avenue from basically the Metro garage in Brentwood all the way down Kirkham to the sculpture park. They're splitting those out. So that will help to some extent there, but they're upsizing the pipes underground and they're splitting them off. So if we do have heavy stormfall, it doesn't also then discharge wastewater into stormwater. It keeps all the wastewater where it's supposed to be in the wastewater pipes. But citywide, I don't know that I've ever seen a figure like that.
And then the parking garage, is it always flooded when it rains hard? Like when it rained Friday night, we had a storm and the parking garage lower level had 4 inches of water.
So we were working on the parking garage. We just hired engineering firm. We did a bunch of work on the parking garage to shore up some of the concrete. The next phase was to waterproof and shore up the top deck so no water comes between the concrete slabs on the top deck. That work was designed originally and planned for under just a general spec. Like if you had a garage top deck, this is how you would do it. Not this is our garage deck, this is how you should do it. Should be the second phase. It shouldn't be, well, this is how you build a house. It should be, this is how you build your house, and get an engineer to actually sign off on that and make sure we do it right one time instead of doing it 3/4 right 3 times. So we should get that back within, I would say, the next 6 weeks, and then we'll be ready to move forward on making those corrections and getting that sealed up. That'll stop all that penetration coming from the top deck through the deck into the lower level. So I'm not sure if that's where the came from or if it's just coming off the street side as well.
I don't know where it's coming from.
I know it's coming through.
Some was coming through. I saw post storm, I saw people coming from San Jose and sushi station, going to their cars and
Walking in ankle deep water.
yeah. Just trying to get to their car and I had someone in a wheelchair and I was helping them and I was like, oh my, just happened to be driving by.
So there has to be drains in there, right? And those maybe could be the issue.
There has to be drains there. I don't, I'm trying to visualize in my head where they're at, but, and I can't off the top of my head, so, I wouldn't think it would be coming off the entrance roadway, because you would.
And have to go up a ramp.
I think that's, yeah.
Bumpy in.
So it's likely coming from that top deck. The way that was designed and originally built, each one of those top deck slabs is its own
Right. So
slab member and they're not connected. So part of that will be making sure that we get those, we get all the concrete solidified the way it should be when the engineering, so that then we can fill and seal those joints so they still allow that movement that's supposed to be designed in there, but that'll stop from penetrating further. So it's in progress. It's not as fast as any of us hope it would have been done, but it's coming. And it's close to $750,000 that we're spending on that project over the last 3 years and moving forward. So it's a significant investment of city funds to make that garage, which I think counted up had roughly 100 almost 175 parking spots or something like that.
And has it been doing that like since day one, basically? Or because I don't remember hearing about it, a decade ago that, I didn't hear about much flooding there, but I didn't know, but.
I don't have an answer for you. It wasn't flooding in the parks a decade ago. That's what I can say. I don't know. I wasn't a public works guy.
Yeah.
I would imagine not. I would imagine at some point it probably had some backing rod and some caulk between those joints that stopped a lot of that water inflow going down. And over the course of 20 years, maybe that's worn out. And but I'm just guessing because I wasn't the public works org chart at that point. And that's, I'm not an engineer. So hopefully our engineer will tell us.
This is the first I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And I've been here for 20 years.
Yeah, after flooding.
Yeah.
I mean, so.
You would have heard of that.
Yeah. So I'm just wondering if it's a drain issue, you know what I'm saying? Just something clogged up in a drain. I mean.
We'll definitely go check that. I've not heard it flooding 4 inches in the basement level either. So yes, we'll go check and make sure there's no drains that are just covered up with a couple plastic bags that stop the inflow.
Wouldn't it be nice if that were simple enough?
Well, that'd be too easy, but more likely that those plastic bags got sucked in 30 feet deep and then blocked up underground.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Yes. I will personally drive over there today, make sure that there's not just plastic bags laid on top of the drum.
In the stormwater master plan, like, I know the city is sound like they're investing a lot of money in this, but what part is MSDs?
No, there is a part that is MSDs,
Right.
and I'll let Scott elaborate. We yesterday got the supplement to their budget between stormwater and then their wastewater. Is it 4 or 5? I don't know if you had a chance to look at it. It's either 4 or 5 wastewater projects that have been supplemented. It made me think I need to go look at how many stormwater projects we have. So if you recall, MSD restructured or asked us as voters to help them restructure some of their financing. And it wasn't until early this year that we even got a sense of what the stormwater part of it was going to look like. So I believe, and I wish Sanan was here, that is still kind of an evolving process, but we have lots of projects in the stormwater plan that we have identified as MSD projects. And then we do for the Deer Creek watershed, we will still get a small portion of financing for projects that it's money that comes from MSD, but we as the city define how that money is spent on stormwater projects. So we can go with their big projects and the other projects they have, but we do have this little bit of money, at least in the Deer Creek watershed.
Is that
Did I say anything incorrect?
Nailed it.
the new culvert that's gonna go in, that, is that part of a grant as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
I read that in the minutes. I don't remember from the meeting.
it's a federal transportation grant that's helping pay for that one. So, which hopefully stays. I just saw the city of Columbia, Missouri got a federal transportation grant
Don't say the words.
No,
yesterday. So, so that $50 million, obviously that's, 20 years worth of work. And yes, some of those projects, are partial MSD projects or should be MSD projects. We'll certainly look for other grants that can go towards some of those projects. So I don't anticipate the city having to pay $50 million in today's money for today's work. Obviously, over the course of 20 years, some of those projects can escalate. So we'll be researching a bunch of additional partners that we can reach out to to leverage funds to do things together. Which is what we do all the time. When they're going to separate the sewers on Kirkham, we're already talking with GRG to at the same time put in Greenway Trail along Kirkham while MSD's tearing it up, and we got to remove some medians, do some work. Is that the right time to bring in another partner to put a greenway next to it to get more greenway traffic through the city from the end of Lorraine Davis Park, where the greenway stops now, up to Scotia Park, eventually maybe to Larson Park, or however we get there to Grants Trail and Crestwood, Kirkwood area, so that then that GRG loop is created for a full 40-mile-ish circuit. So we're trying to leverage those partners and spend our money as judiciously as we can, along with MSD, along with a federal grant, along with a GRG project or whatever, to get the most bang for the buck. But it takes time on all those things. So that MSD project won't break ground until late 26, won't finish until probably 28. So.
All right, any other comments?
You wanna go back to new business?
Oh, sorry, new business, thank you. New business, approved 2025 district events.
So each board and commission of the city gets to sponsor 2 events throughout the city. In your case, likely just in your district, that will then get city assistance without additional charges or if any additional charges. So we just need to follow the policy so that you guys officially vote for whichever 2 events that you would like to have as your main designated events. Jazz Fest, street dance, holiday events, whichever 2 you want, pick the 2 biggest, and make that recommendation and officially vote on that, so that we can then, once we get to the portion where we're submitting special activities permits and stuff, that helps the staff that are doing those permits determine, do you get charged for us to provide and drop off trash cans? Do you get charged for us to put up no parking signs? Those types of things. On your sponsored events, you would not. On non-sponsored events, you could.
And then if we are doing, there's been talking about the holiday open house being a Webster, like Webster wide, would that be if another district older isn't doing
Not
2
gonna
events,
do,
they're not gonna be part of it.
they're gonna do their own,
They're gonna do their own.
They do it a different weekend.
yes.
They're not ready for that question.
Ready? Yeah.
We're not ready.
Okay. Yeah. We'll get back to you.
And when do you need that by?
Yesterday,
Next time we have an event.
yesterday,
I mean, typically your special activities permits go in a
Yes.
month before an individual event. So if you were gonna sponsor Jazz Fest, you need to do it real soon.
Well, we're,
Yeah, because
we're
we-
gonna do Jazz Fest. I can,
Right.
right? That's just a given.
So
I think.
Can you have them vote on the one and then
yes.
you all can discuss? the
I would
second?
move and vote on that then. If
Okay.
that's,
All right, so we get to pick two events. One of them for sure is gonna be Jazz Festival. Is everyone in favor of that?
All in favor, say
We need to do
vote.
A motion
The whole thing.
and, yeah.
motion second,
you need to propose it, somebody
Okay.
needs to second.
Okay, all right. So I will make a motion to make the Jazz Festival one of the events that we approve to be one of the events that the city will help us with police and
that you'll officially sponsor.
officially, that we will officially sponsor.
Second.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, so we have that one, you know.
Perfect, thank you.
So looking retroactively, the street dance, how much was this, would the city's bill on that have been?
I don't have an answer.
Is that in last year's budget?
Yeah, that's what I'm not understanding. What is this money? How much money are we talking and
It's not necessarily money, it's in-kind services. So for instance, I'll just say Community Days, the Lions Festival. You know, nobody sponsored the Lions Festival because they're their own entity. So the Lions had to pay for police services. They had to pay for Parks and Rec to drop off trash cans. They had to pay for Public Works to put out no parking signs and provide barricades and things like that. Had a commission sponsored that, then some of, if not all of those would have been covered as in-kind city services. Doesn't mean that 100% of anything will be covered if you pick one of them, because there are some, you know, additional expenses that if it's gonna, you know, Jazz Fest, the city's not gonna go rent all the stages and pay for all the performers necessarily. But if there's no parking signs and things like that, then we'll cover those types of things. So there's still some give and take on what each individual special event is. But we instituted this policy two-ish, maybe 3 years ago, because there was, I mean, there's 12-ish boards and commissions, and each one was trying to sponsor 3, 4, 5 events, and it was just becoming very cost prohibitive and time consuming for the city staff to do all the work on all those events, when some of those didn't necessarily fall under what would be a city sponsored. So we crafted the policy that each commission can sponsor too. Explain that decently.
So basically, yeah, it does, but you know, it's one of the biggest expenses, is police.
Yeah.
You know, and that's, you know, and if it's an event, and one of the unknowns to us per se is, let's just say our open house, which we've never had a police presence at before and ever, you know. But now the new police chief thinks that we may need to have 10 officers. That could be a huge expense to us.
We're
Is
not-
that correct?
I don't know that.
Well, we had,
We could probably check the minutes.
we've
Ron,
gone
I think
through
we-
it now
No,
for a year. We
It
didn't
wouldn't
have to.
be, the question was like, if we're serving alcohol outside, I believe is what brought it up.
okay,
The police
And we
presence.
went through and it was fine.
He wanted that one, he
That
talked
was
about
for
it, but
that.
then we didn't have
Right.
one, and then
That was-
we had district officers assess it.
Yeah.
I can tell you, I just saw it hanging up. He wanted 2 officers for gazebo series last year, and this year there's only 1. So we reevaluated it, so all this is new to him, so
Okay,
he wants
okay.
to kind of see it.
okay,
But yeah, he had 2 officers last year for gazebo series, this year it's only 1. So, but yes, he did talk about it for the open house, and then in the end. Guys basically, like district guys went and checked it, reported back.
okay.
So I don't know what he determined from that, but you guys did not pay for an officer for
Right, got it.
the last couple
Okay,
of events.
okay,
So
sorry. Okay. So let's, so we need to look at our budget. also, we need to come back and look at the, and think of the other event that we want to have sponsored. So,
Why is it we have 12 boards and commissions? And each one has two, and yet we throw so many of these events? Why is that? Why would these other ones have two and we only have two? It seems like we should have more because we have a lot more events than any of these other boards.
I think it was a question of sort of equity in terms of letting different boards and commissions pick events. I don't think the argument was we started with a baseline of how many events you each had, because at that point, the baseline was every board and commission was having multiple events. I'm not, sustainability, green space advisory, they all have multiple events a year as well. I'm not sure they're as visible to you as what you all are doing. But obviously you want more events. What's the, I think I know the answer to this question, but what's the basis on which you would say this commission should have more events than other commissions?
Because they are more publicly viewed and there are, I would believe, more people at our events, the Jazz Fest, the street dance, the holiday open house, the Oktoberfest. I would think that there's a lot more people at these events than that are at other events that are being from some of these other boards.
And I think the Arts Commission would come in and argue that with you and some others
Well,
would. So I don't,
Yeah.
No, I'm not,
Yeah.
I'm not saying there aren't other ones that are
yeah,
of the size. I'm just saying there's other ones that are not nearly as big. They don't necessarily need things to be shut down, streets to be shut down and all of that.
We're only really shutting down and having two massive
we only have two,
events.
I mean, really, I don't
Jazz,
think that,
because we're not closing streets and no parking signs
right.
and trash cans. We're not doing that for holiday open house, are we?
and that actually is part of it, is what you all need is different from what some other events may need in terms of actions. For say Arts Fest, we do have to close down, or we had a ton of parking things go up. And we do have, for some of the other events, it's facilities they need rather than police presence, place to do the event. So it's not an apples to apples comparison across the boards and commissions about what it means to sponsor an event. Now, would you like to make the case to council that you should have a number higher because these are your regular events? You all can make that case to council and council can make a decision on that. There's nothing that precludes you for asking for that. But the policy went in place because boards and commissions are doing more and more all the time. And we were expecting more and more from staff in terms of support for those events. That, to be honest, we don't have the staff to do that. But if you think there's a good case to be made that you should have 3 events every year instead of 2, I'd say make the case.
And the only one I would look at making a case for would be the holiday open house and just make it more of a city event, like a Webster Wonderland, and it's just like something like that. I mean, that's the only other thing that I see in stuff that we do that could be additional funding or support from the city. They're doing, look at the amount of manpower we're getting for Jazz Fest. I mean, that's like same thing as like how many people come to that. It's massive. I don't think that this will count it.
Yeah, I mean, I think
dollars.
in reality, our only 2 events that we need help with is street dance and Jazz Fest. If we've proven to the city that our Oktoberfest and our Christmas open house is not, we don't need a huge police presence, then that's the main expense. I mean, there could be a little bit here and there for something, but very minuscule in my opinion. So, and I don't know if we're looking to expand to more events. I don't, so.
Can't afford it.
Huh?
Can't afford it.
Right. So. And volunteers, just like the city is short staffed, so are, so are our volunteers too. So. Okay. Any other new business? Is there Fran?
Not that I'm aware of.
Just nudge me. Okay, adjourn the meeting. Next meeting will be August 26th, 8 AM here.